Chapter 5038. The myriad demon path also left a way out for every challenger. At the back of the square, there was a stone platform. If the challenger felt that he could not hold on any longer and retreated to the stone platform in time, the demons would not continue to attack. This gave the challenger a chance to catch his breath. Otherwise, if the challenger could not hold on and could not retreat, wouldn't he be dead? With a way out, as long as he felt that he could not hold on and retreated in time, there would be no danger to his life. Of course, if someone could not hold on and did not retreat, they would be courting death. However, Lu Ming could still hold on for now. Although he felt a little dizzy, he immediately felt better after circulating his forbidden power. He continued to fight with the 20 demons and continued to comprehend these demonic arts. After enduring for a while, when Lu Ming felt that he was about to reach his limit, he quickly retreated. The 20 demons chased after him, but they were still a step too late. Lu Ming retreated to the stone platform outside the square. When Lu Ming retreated to the stone platform, the 20 demons immediately stopped and turned into rays of light, entering the stone tablet and disappearing. It's really difficult to comprehend 20 types of secret arts amidst the chaotic attacks, Lu Ming sighed. However, Lu Ming already had a way to deal with it. That was to focus on one demonic art and ignore the other demons. When he completely comprehended this demonic art, he would find its weakness and destroy this demonic art. In this way, there would only be 19 types of demonic arts left, which would be easier to deal with. Lu Ming sat cross-legged and circulated his forbidden power. His injuries quickly recovered. Lu Ming's recovery speed was astonishing. Even if he was poisoned, it was the same. Before long, Lu Ming was fully recovered and returned to his peak. It's time to refine the Origin Spirit medicinal liquid. Lu Ming pondered. Then, with a thought, he entered the ancient desolation ring and began to refine the Origin Spirit medicinal liquid. Refining the Origin Spirit medicinal liquid was a big deal because he could refine 1 drop every month. However, if he missed it, for example, if he did it after a year, he would not be able to refine 12 drops at once. He could only refine 1 drop. Even after 100 years, you can only refine 1 drop. Therefore, every month, as long as Lu Ming had nothing to do, he would refine Origin Spirit medicinal elixir. In the 10 years since he had entered the 10,000 demon path, Lu Ming would find a chance to retreat to the stone platform outside the plaza every month. He would wait until he finished refining the original divine medicinal liquid before he continued to comprehend Yao arts. Sometimes, he would even finish absorbing the Origin Spirit medicinal liquid and comprehend Yao arts. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken him so long to get here. After refining the original God elixir, Lu Ming left the stone platform and entered the square. As soon as Lu Ming entered the plaza, the stone steel glowed. 20 Yao materialized with Yao arts charged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming kept his eyes on one of the demons while he tried his best to avoid the other demons. After a period of time, Lu Ming was once again injured. He retreated to the stone platform to recover, but his gains were great. His understanding of that demonic art had deepened greatly. As he comprehended more and more demonic arts, the speed at which he comprehended them also became faster and faster. If Lu Ming needed 10 days to comprehend the same demonic art at the start, he now needed 6 or 7 days to comprehend it. At the same time, he discovered that demonic arts and ancient secret arts were different methods of achieving the same result. There were similarities between the two. This allowed him to gain a clearer understanding of his own Genesis arts while comprehending the demonic arts. That's right, comprehending the demonic arts here could help him comprehend his own Genesis arts. By comparing the demonic arts and ancient secret arts, his understanding of Genesis arts grew deeper and deeper in his mind. After recovering, Lu Ming continued to comprehend. After a few days, Lu Ming finally succeeded in comprehending the demonic art and found its weakness. Swish! His spear thrust out like a dragon, piercing the demonic art's weakness and destroying it. As a result, only 19 of the 20 demonic arts were left. Lu Ming followed the same pattern and continued to study one of the demonic arts. A few days later, Lu Ming also succeeded in comprehending the demonic art and defeated the demonic art's manifestation. As the number of demonic arts decreased, Lu Ming's comprehension speed also increased. In this way, after several months, Lu Ming passed this stage and entered the 21st stage. It had to be said that Lu Ming's talent in comprehending various arts was too great. His speed was too fast, his experience was too rich, and he also had the primordial divine stone in his knowledge. When he was comprehending demonic arts, various runes would appear on the primordial divine stone to help him comprehend demonic arts and greatly increase his comprehension speed. If it was anyone else, their speed would be 100 times slower than Lu Ming's. Even if they were monstrous geniuses, they would be far inferior to Lu Ming. It was very likely that they would be stuck in this stage for the rest of their lives. In the 21st stage, there were 21 kinds of demonic arts that manifested as demonic beasts that attacked together. Also, the demonic arts here were even more profound, more powerful, and more difficult to comprehend. Lu Ming repeated the same trick and continued to study one kind of demonic art. When he could not withstand it, he would retreat to the stone platform outside the plaza to rest. When a month was up, he would start to refine the origin spirit medicinal liquid or absorb and refine the origin spirit medicinal liquid. Lu Ming's attitude was very steady. He was not arrogant or impatient. He would just treat this as a seclusion. In any case, he had great gains every time he comprehended a demonic art. Just like this, Lu Ming comprehended demonic arts as he refined the origin spirit medicinal liquid. In a blink, another 6 years passed. It had been 16 years since Lu Ming entered the 10,000 demon path. Bam! Lu Ming brandished his spear and defeated a demon that used demonic techniques. Past the 27th stage. Lu Ming exhaled deeply. In 16 years, he had passed the 27th stage. This speed was very fast. If Zhao Qing knew of this, his jaw would probably drop. But Lu Ming knew that the later stages would not be easy to pass. Even though as time passed, Lu Ming's comprehension of demonic arts became faster and faster, but the later stages of the demonic arts were even harder to comprehend. It was very difficult to increase his speed. It might even take a longer time. A whirlpool appeared below the plaza and sucked Lu Ming in. Then, Lu Ming appeared in a stone room. Yes, he did not appear in the plaza, but in a stone room. Lu Ming himself stilled slightly. This situation was not right. Why did he appear in a stone room? A row of characters suddenly appeared on the wall of the stone room. After Lu Ming read, he had a joyful expression. It said that he would be given a reward. There were 3 kinds of rewards. He could only choose one. Suddenly, the wall lit up. A miniature little dragon appeared in the air. "I am here to give you a reward," the miniature little dragon said. With a glance, Lu Ming knew that the miniature little dragon was not a physical body, but was condensed from energy like a kind of formation spirit. Chapter 5039. What's the reward? Lu Ming asked. He couldn't help but look forward to it. After all, this was the myriad demon's path. After going through 27 stages, the reward shouldn't be too shabby, right? There are 3 rewards for you to choose from, but you can only choose one of them. The mini dragon said. What are the 3? Tell me. Lu Ming asked. The first is a divine weapon. The mini dragon waved its hand, and divine weapons floated in the air. One of them was a fiery red spear. The other item was a fiery red armor. The aura emitted by both of them was particularly shocking. Top-grade divine weapons. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that they were top-grade divine weapons. Both of them were top-grade divine weapons. As expected of the primordial desolate realms demon race, they had 2 top-grade soul-grade divine weapons in one go. Furthermore, they were a complete set. Lu Ming liked it at first sight. What about the other 2 rewards? Lu Ming took a deep breath, suppressed the greed in his heart, and asked. Let's look at the other 2 rewards first. The second reward is 999 drops of original spirit elixir. The mini dragon waved its hand, and another jade bottle appeared. 999 drops of original spirit elixir. Lu Ming's eyes lit up, and his heart was burning. To be honest, he also coveted 999 drops of original spirit elixir. The third reward is 1,000 immortal crystals. The mini dragon took out a small box and said, Here are the 3 rewards. Which one do you want to choose? Lu Ming began to think. To be honest, he wanted all 3 rewards. But it was obviously impossible. The mini-dragon said that he could only choose one. As for snatching it, that was even more out of the question. The myriad demon's path was obviously set up by the demon race. If there were such good spears, they would have been used up by the demon race for generations. If he really tried to snatch it, he would probably be courting death. In the end, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and said, "I choose 999 drops of original spirit elixir." Lu Ming chose the original spirit elixir after careful consideration. Although a full set of top-notch source-grade divine weapons was precious and tempting to Lu Ming did not lack them. The War God Spear was a top-tier source-grade divine weapon, and he also had a top-tier source-grade battle armor. One more set would not increase his strength at all. As for the 1,000 immortal crystals, they were also very valuable. Immortal crystals contained origin imprints. Reciprocity cultivators could directly absorb the origin imprints and increase their cultivation. However, Lu Ming was only at the Divine Master realm. He couldn't absorb the origin mark inside the immortal crystal. No matter how he thought about it, the original God elixir was still the best choice. Once he absorbed and refined the original God elixir, he would be able to convert it into strength and increase his cultivation base, allowing him to approach the origin sooner. Now that he had 12 stalks of top-grade source-grade divine herbs, he could refine 12 drops of source God elixir every month. That would be 144 drops in a year. 999 drops of origin God elixir was equivalent to 7 years of Lu Ming's production. To be honest, of the 3 rewards, 999 drops of origin spirit elixir was probably the least valuable. However, it was currently the most useful to Lu Ming. "Alright, here you go." With a wave of the mini-dragon's hand, the other 2 rewards disappeared. The jade bottle containing the original God elixir flew to Lu Ming. Lu Ming caught it and opened it. Sure enough, he saw a bottle full of original God elixir. This kind of jade bottle didn't look big from the outside, but it was actually quite spacious inside. The pearl-like drops of original God elixir shone dazzlingly. At this time, the surrounding environment began to change. Lu Ming disappeared from the stone room and appeared in a square. There were 28 types of demonic arts on the stone stele. The 28th trial. This trial had 28 types of demonic arts. It was much more difficult and mysterious. The 28 types of demonic arts manifested into demonic beasts that attacked Lu Ming. Lu Ming began his great undertaking of comprehending demonic arts again. Just like that, time passed year after year. Lu Ming also passed through one trial after another. From the 28th trial to the 54th trial, Lu Ming used a total of 34 years to pass these 27 trials. It was twice as long as the previous 27 trials. From this, one could see how difficult the 27 trials were. Of course, Lu Ming's harvest was also very big. As he comprehended different types of demonic arts, Lu Ming's understanding of the origin spirit also became clearer and clearer. Lu Ming felt that his comprehension of Genesis techniques had reached a limit. It was as if he could immediately comprehend his own Genesis technique as long as he poked through this layer of paper. Soon, I should be able to comprehend my own Genesis technique very soon. Lu Ming muttered to himself. His heart was filled with anticipation. He currently had the battle strength of a 4-time Genesis breaker. Then, when he comprehended his own Genesis technique, how strong would his battle strength be? 5 times Genesis breaker? A 4-time Genesis breaker was already a peerless genius. In the entire universe, besides Lu Ming, there were only 2 people who had achieved this. A 4-time Genesis breaker was said to have the potential to become an immortal. Then what about 5 times Genesis breaker? When he broke through the limits 5 times, everyone in the universe would be shocked. Swish. At this moment, Lu Ming appeared in another stone chamber. Another mini-dragon appeared. There was another reward. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It seemed that every 27 trials would give him a reward. 27 trials, 54 trials, there were a total of 81 trials, and there were still 27 trials left. It seemed that after passing all 81 trials, he would receive another reward. This time, how many rewards would he be able to choose from? Lu Ming was looking forward to it. Congratulations on passing the 54th trial, this is your reward. After speaking, the mini dragon waved its hand, and a jade bottle appeared and flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming subconsciously caught it in his hand, and then he was a little dumbfounded. Weren't there several rewards for him to choose from? Why was there only one? Lu Ming directly asked this question. You have already chosen the type before. After you made your first choice, the following rewards will be given to you according to your previous choices. You chose the original spirit medicinal liquid before, so this time, I will give you all the original spirit medicinal liquid. Of course, there will be a lot more, 5,000 drops. The mini dragon said. You can do that? Lu Ming was speechless. However, 5,000 drops of original spirit medicinal liquid was still very tempting to Lu Ming. According to his own production, 5,000 drops of original spirit medicinal liquid would take about 35 years. In this way, he could directly save 35 years of time. Well, I want to ask, if I choose a top source level divine weapon as the reward for the first trial, how many divine weapons will I get this time? 5 sets of top source level divine weapons. The mini dragon said. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. 5 sets, that means 5 divine weapons and 5 armors. Lu Ming was tempted. Then what about immortal crystals? Lu Ming asked again. 5,000 immortal crystals. The mini dragon answered. Did I choose the wrong one? Lu Ming asked himself. They were all 5 times stronger than before. Chapter 5040. Originally, the value of 999 drops of origin spirit medicinal liquid was on the low side compared to 1,000 immortal crystals and a set of top-grade divine weapons. The greater the quantity, the greater the disparity in value. Now, the difference between 5,000 drops of origin spirit medicinal liquid and 5,000 immortal crystals and 5 sets of top-grade divine weapons was even greater. If there was a choice, Lu Ming might choose the 5 sets of top-grade divine weapons. A set of top-grade divine weapons had both offense and defense. If given to an Origin Realm expert, that Origin Realm expert's battle strength would soar. An Origin Realm expert would spare no expense to obtain a set of top-grade divine weapons. A top-grade offensive divine weapon could increase an Origin Realm expert's offensive power. Especially a top-grade battle armor, it could save one's life at a critical moment. It could increase an Origin Realm expert's survivability by a large margin. With an increase in survivability, there would naturally be more opportunities to obtain other treasures, such as Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid, Immortal Crystals, and even top-grade divine herbs. Strength and survivability were the foundation. However, Lu Ming had no other choice. He had chosen the Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid, but it was too late to regret it now. Fortunately, the Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid is what I need right now. It can quickly raise my cultivation base, or else I wouldn't even have a place to cry. Lu Ming comforted himself as he carefully put away the 5,000 drops of Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid. If he relied on 12 top-grade divine herbs to refine 5,000 drops of Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid, it would take several decades. This way, he could at least save several decades of time. After putting away the Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid, the mini dragon disappeared and Lu Ming reappeared on a square. On the 55th checkpoint, 55 kinds of demonic arts materialized powerful demonic beasts that charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming continued to comprehend demonic arts and perfect his genesis techniques. Time passed quickly, and 1 year after another passed. Soon, it had been 120 years since Lu Ming entered the myriad demon's path. Lu Ming had already reached the 80th checkpoint. This was the penultimate checkpoint. As long as he passed the 80th and 81st checkpoints, Lu Ming would be considered to have passed the myriad demon's path. Puff! The spear gleam surged and another demon with demonic skills was defeated by Lu Ming. On the field, only the Yao with 9 Yao arts were left. Out of the 80 types, Lu Ming had broken through only 9 types. Soon, Lu Ming's eyes brightened. He had a feeling that his genesis technique was about to take shape and be fully comprehended. There was only a little left and he was just 1 step away. Lu Ming felt that he could completely comprehend it at any time. Perhaps, All he needed was a hint of inspiration. Perhaps I won't even need to pass the 81st stage, and will be able to perfect my Genesis technique in the 80th stage. Lu Ming revealed a smile at the corner of his mouth. He looked at the demon who had conjured the demonic art and started to study it. Several days later, bang, this kind of Yao art was defeated by Lu Ming. But he still couldn't comprehend it. He was still a bit off. Continue. Bang. It was yet another failure. Soon, at the 80th level, there were only 3 Yao arts left. Yes, it's like this, it's like this. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes were like 2 big suns, emitting a dazzling brilliance. He let out an excited roar. Then, tens of thousands of cells in his body emitted a dazzling brilliance like tens of thousands of stars. But the tens of thousands of stars disappeared as soon as they appeared. Forbidden power was frantically circulating, rapidly circulating through the 60 trillion cells in Lu Ming's body. Then, Lu Ming's body rapidly swelled. In the end, Lu Ming's body grew to a height of 3 feet, nearly 10 meters, like a giant. Swish! The war god spear in Lu Ming's hand swept out, and a divine dragon flew out with a roar. Then, the spear's momentum changed, and a phoenix flew out. His figure flashed, disappearing from the spot, and the next moment he appeared on the side of the square. It was as if he had teleported, or the aurora art of the 3,000 ancient secret techniques. This was not the end. Lu Ming continued to attack, and not a single move was the same. There were thousands of variations, and it was infinitely mysterious. These moves had the shadow of the 3,000 ancient secret techniques, and also the shadow of Yao arts. They were not restricted to one style, but their power was extremely astonishing. They were much stronger than Lu Ming's primordial desolation style and heaven splitter style. Genesis technique. This is my Genesis technique. My Genesis technique is different from the rest. Lu Ming's figure flashed, and he appeared on the stone stage outside the square. His eyes were bright and filled with excitement. He had finally created his own Genesis technique. However, his Genesis technique was completely different from the others. For example, Yi Immortal, Gu Changfeng, Xian Yanqing and the others were different. The others' Genesis techniques were similar to special moves that fused with one's own origin power. His Genesis technique also fused with one's own origin power, but there was no special move. If there was a special move, it would be that one's body would grow when using it. This was because the direction he took in comprehending Genesis techniques was based on his own body. The body was the foundation, and the body and the physical body were the foundation. Once used, the forbidden power would circulate in his body at a special frequency, causing his body to swell. This swelling of his body was the embodiment of the Genesis technique. In this state, his body was the Genesis technique. He had already turned into a Genesis technique, and every move he made would be able to erupt with terrifying power. Moreover, his moves were ever-changing and he could use any move he wanted. A single thought from him would be a killing move that contained the mysterious power of the 3,000 ancient secret techniques and Yao arts. As expected, after comprehending the Genesis technique, I seemed to have forgotten the ancient secret techniques. Lu Ming mumbled to himself. He had discovered that he had fallen into a strange state. He clearly knew that he had comprehended 3,000 ancient secret techniques, but when he tried to think carefully, he could not recall any of them. He had forgotten. Fei Huang had once said that he would forget the secret techniques he had comprehended in the later stages of his cultivation. It seemed that it was true. However, although he had forgotten the ancient secret techniques, they were deeply imprinted in his soul. Once he used a Genesis technique, every move he made would contain the shadow of the 3,000 ancient secret techniques, and its power would be even stronger. This trip was not in vain. It was a blessing in disguise, Lu Ming pondered. He was in a good mood. His only regret was that he had not yet rescued Huang Ling. But there was no hurry. As long as Huang Ling was still on the Thousand Demon Path, he would naturally be able to rescue her after he passed the 81st stage. What should I call my Genesis technique? Lu Ming pondered. Everyone would give their Genesis technique a name. His Genesis technique was different from the others. What should it be called? After pondering for a good while, Lu Ming shook his head. He couldn't think of a satisfactory name, but he would slowly think of one in the future. In any case, there was no hurry to name it. I can clearly feel that once I use a Genesis technique, my battle strength will soar. I wonder if I have reached the legendary 5 times of breaking the boundary. Lu Ming was looking forward to it. He wanted to find an expert to have a big fight with so that he could verify his combat ability. Chapter 5041. Lu Ming desperately wanted to find an expert to battle and verify his strength. However, Lu Ming had a feeling that if he were to fight Shi Tianting, he would be able to easily defeat Shi Tianting after using his Genesis techniques. He knew that Lu Ming was invincible in the Divine Master stage. Only the Origin Realm was his opponent. My battle strength has almost reached a point where it can't be improved any further in the Divine Master stage. If I want to greatly increase my strength, I can only break through to the Origin Realm. Lu Ming pondered. He wasn't exaggerating. It was the truth. His taboo force had reached a higher level, and his strength had almost reached the peak. He had also comprehended his Genesis techniques. Of course, it wasn't that his Genesis techniques couldn't be improved, but it was too difficult to make a breakthrough in the Divine Master stage. It was many times more difficult than comprehending Genesis techniques in the Divine Master stage. Only after breaking through to the Origin Realm could he continue to make breakthroughs in his Genesis techniques. Therefore, apart from making a breakthrough in his cultivation, Lu Ming really couldn't think of any other way to increase his battle strength. If Lu Ming really reached the 5th extreme break, it would be normal. Even in the primeval continent, there weren't many people who could reach the 5th extreme break. Those who broke the 4th extreme break were said to have hope of becoming an immortal. As for those who broke the 5th extreme break, as long as there were no accidents, they would definitely become an immortal. Let's break through the 1,000 demon path in one go. With a thought, Lu Ming withdrew his Genesis technique. His body quickly shrank and returned to normal. At the same time, Lu Ming found that half of the taboo force in his body had been consumed. The consumption of taboo force when using Genesis techniques was so astonishing. With his cultivation, he couldn't last long using Genesis techniques. I can only slowly perfect them after I break through to the Origin Realm. Lu Ming muttered to himself. After all, he had just comprehended his Genesis techniques and was definitely not perfect in all aspects. As he slowly perfected them in the future, the consumption of taboo force would definitely slowly decrease. Swish! Lu Ming left the stone platform and rushed into the square to continue comprehending his demonic arts. The last few types of Yao arts were quickly defeated by Lu Ming. Lu Ming successfully passed the 80th level and then entered the 81st level. The difficulty level of the 81st level had indeed increased tremendously. Even Lu Ming felt immense pressure. It was much more difficult than the 80th level. It was extremely difficult for Lu Ming to break through this hurdle. It took him 10 years to successfully break through this hurdle. In this way, Lu Ming used a total of 130 years to pass through the myriad demons path. When Lu Ming passed the 81st level, he appeared in a stone room. Another reward. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. Lu Ming had already tasted the sweetness of the previous 2 rewards. The nearly 6,000 drops of Origin Spirit medicinal liquid that Lu Ming had obtained earlier had all been refined by Lu Ming during the past few years. Lu Ming's cultivation had also grown extremely rapidly approaching the Origin Realm. He was another step closer to the peak of the Divine Master Realm. The Origin Source seed in his body had become even more plump, and the taboo origin power contained within it had become even denser. If the reward this time is 5 times the previous ones, I will really be able to reach my limit. Lu Ming revealed an expectant look. The previous rewards were 5,000 drops of Origin Spirit medicinal liquid. If it was 5 times the previous rewards, it would be 25,000 drops of Origin Spirit medicinal liquid. It would be enough for Lu Ming's cultivation to reach the limits of the Origin Realm. When Lu Ming appeared in the stone room, 2 runes suddenly appeared in the void. The 2 runes rapidly charged toward Lu Ming. Before Lu Ming could react, they had already charged into Lu Ming's eyes. 2 tiny runes had appeared on the surface of Lu Ming's eyes. If someone else stood in front of Lu Ming and stared into his eyes, they would be able to clearly see them. However, The 2 runes quickly disappeared. What is this? Lu Ming was a little dumbfounded. Was this also a reward? No way, the reward I wanted was Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid. 25,000 drops of Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid. Don't tell me you're screwing me over just like that. This is your reward. A voice rang out, and the miniature dragon reappeared. This is my reward? Then what about my Origin Spirit Medicinal Liquid? Lu Ming asked. Why are you in such a hurry? This is your extra reward for passing through the Myriad Demon's path. This is the Demon King Emperor rune, which can see through most of the world's runes and formations. The miniature dragon said. The Demon King Emperor rune can see through most of the world's runes and formations? Lu Ming suddenly became excited, and his voice suddenly rose several octaves. He was so excited. Yes, although it's impossible to see through all of them, you can still see through most of them. As for the formations below the immortal level, as long as there is a weakness, you can almost come and go freely, unless there is no weakness. Of course, there are very few formations in the world that have no weakness, the miniature dragon said. Lu Ming was very satisfied. According to the miniature dragon, although it couldn't see through immortal level formations, it was related to immortal level formations. But an immortal level array was most likely related to immortals. It was normal for one to not be able to see through it after stepping into the immortal domain. It would be abnormal if one could see through it. With this Demon King Emperor rune, his life-saving ability would definitely skyrocket. In this aspect, he was even more awesome than Dandan. Of course, just seeing through it and not understanding those runes and formations would definitely not be able to use it. If Dandan knew about it, he would probably be so envious that his eyes would turn purple. Lu Ming smiled slightly. He was quite satisfied with this extra reward. Then, the miniature dragon took out a jade bottle and flew to Lu Ming. There are 25,000 drops of original spirit medicinal liquid in here. It's your reward for passing the 81st stage. The miniature dragon said. It's really 25,000 drops of original spirit medicinal liquid. Lu Ming was extremely excited, his eyes burning with passion. 25,000 drops of original spirit medicinal liquid, which saved him more than 170 years of time. Lu Ming carefully put it into the ancient desolation ring. Also, take this array plate with you and give it to the experts of the monster clan. With this array plate, they can freely enter and exit the road of 1,000 monsters. They can even freely enter and exit the barriers outside the 1,000 Monsters Mountain. The miniature dragon said. I see. Lu Ming understood. This was a treasure for the demon race. He had heard from Zhao Qing that as long as someone passed through the Myriad Demon's path, the inside of the Myriad Demon's mountain would be connected to the outside. It seemed that the Myriad Demon's path would not disappear. Zhao Qing and the others had most likely misunderstood. The Myriad Demon's path was still there, but the people of the demon race could use this array plate to enter and exit the Myriad Demon's path at will. Alright, the reward has been given. Let's go. The miniature dragon said. In the next moment, Lu Ming disappeared from the stone chamber and appeared on a mountain peak. This is the surface of the Myriad Demon's mountain? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. This place was lacking in desolation chi. It was indeed the surface of the Myriad Demon's mountain. He had indeed left the interior of the Myriad Demon's mountain. Behind him, the void was constantly twisting like water ripples. This was the entrance to the Myriad Demon's path. Chapter 5042. Go back. Lu Ming took a step forward and dashed toward the void that was constantly twisting. Huang Ling had not been rescued yet, so he naturally could not leave. As soon as his body got close to the distorted void, his body disappeared from the void. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in another void. Standing in this void, a magnificent scene appeared in front of Lu Ming. Dense and endless runes filled the entire void, covering a large area. He did not know how many runes there were. Anyway, they were densely packed like the sand of the Ganges River. Countless runes intertwined together to form a huge formation. This huge formation was ever-changing and incomparably mysterious. The 10,000 Demon Path. That's right. The formation formed by the endless runes was the 10,000 Demon Path. On Lu Ming's eyes, 2 runes flickered with a strange luster. The entire 10,000 demon path appeared in Lu Ming's eyes. There were no secrets. Lu Ming immediately saw a figure fighting with some demons in a certain place in the 10,000 demon path. Who else could it be but Huang Ling? The 54th level. Lu Ming discovered that Huang Ling had actually reached the 54th level. Lu Ming was a little surprised. One had to know that even in the history of the demon race, there were definitely not many who could reach the 54th level. From this, it could be seen how talented Huang Ling was and how high her comprehension ability was. Huang Ling and Mulins entered the creation jade pool and underwent earth-shaking transformations. There are only more than 10 types of demonic arts left. Huang Ling should be able to pass the 54th level. Lu Ming pondered. Therefore, he did not immediately appear to see Huang Ling. There would be a reward for passing the 54th level. If he went to see Huang Ling now and took Huang Ling away, there would be no reward. Although he did not know what reward Huang Ling had chosen, no matter what reward it was, the value was shockingly high. After looking for a while, Lu Ming's gaze turned to other directions of the 10,000 demon path. He also saw other figures in different directions. There were a total of 7 people. 6 of the demon race prodigies should have entered the myriad demon path in the past. According to Zhao Qing, the Yao clan had not entered the myriad demons path for many years. It was hard to remember exactly how long it had been, but it was definitely a long time ago. Over the years, more than 6 geniuses from the demon race had entered the 10,000 demon path. Some of them had either died or self-destructed because too much time had passed. Of the remaining 6, the strongest one had also reached the 54th stage. However, this person was far weaker than Huang Ling. At the 54th stage, he did not even use a single demonic art to defeat her. He was completely trapped here, unable to advance or retreat. The other prodigies of the monster race were in a similar situation. They were completely trapped in a difficult situation, unable to advance or retreat. Even if these people died of old age, it was impossible for them to pass through the myriad demons path. Huang Ling still had some hope. However, it would take a very long time to pass the 10,000 demons path. Huang Ling might have spent 10,000 years to pass the 54th stage, but she had already passed the 54th stage. If he wanted to pass the remaining 27 stages, he would need at least 100,000 years or even longer. The other person was naturally Zhao Qing. However, she had only reached the 18th level. To be able to reach the 18th level in 130 years was already extremely talented. Once Huang Ling passes the 54th stage and obtains the reward, I'll go out and see her. After some thought, Lu Ming sat down on the spot. He took out the origin spirit elixir and began to refine it. Lu Ming refined droplet after droplet of origin spirit elixir. They were converted into origin energy and gathered in the origin seed. Lu Ming's origin seed was constantly filling up. The origin energy was constantly condensing. When he truly reached the limit, all the forbidden energy in Lu Ming's body would be converted into forbidden origin energy. Right now, the forbidden energy and forbidden origin energy coexisted in Lu Ming's body. Only when Lu Ming's body was completely filled with forbidden origin energy would it mean that Lu Ming could prepare to break through to reciprocity. This cultivation lasted for more than 60 years. It had been almost 200 years since Lu Ming had entered the myriad demon path. Lu Ming had already refined all 25,000 droplets of origin spirit elixir. Lu Ming's cultivation had finally reached the limits of peak Godmaster. All the forbidden energy in his body had been converted into forbidden origin energy. As long as he settled down for a while longer, he could break through to reciprocity. However, he was currently in the origin tribulation, so he was unable to break through to reciprocity. However, there were only around 300 years left before the tribulation ended. 300 years passed very quickly. Lu Ming planned on using these 300 years to raise his condition to the limit. That way, he would be able to break through to reciprocity as soon as the tribulation ended. Lu Ming still did not know that there were monstrous geniuses who could break through to reciprocity under the origin tribulation. No one had told him this. At this moment, Huang Ling was finally about to pass through the 54th stage. There was only one last demonic art left, and it seemed like Huang Ling had basically comprehended it. Another half a day later, Huang Ling unleashed a killer move that attacked the weakness of the Yao that had materialized from the Yao art and defeated this Yao. Afterward, Huang Ling disappeared from the 54th stage and entered a stone room. Of course, this stone room was also a part of the formation. It was composed of a large number of runes. Lu Ming could see it very clearly. Huang Ling chose a weapon. A light flashed through Lu Ming's eyes. He saw Mini-Dragon hand over 5 sets of peak source-grade weapons to Huang Ling. This included 5 peak source-grade armors and 5 peak source-grade swords. To be honest, this reward was the most valuable out of the 3. Reciprocity experts would fight over it. Huang Ling received the reward and entered the 55th stage. After entering the 55th stage, Huang Ling began to comprehend the demonic arts here. She could not be trapped in the myriad demon mountain. She wanted to leave. She wanted to see Lu Ming again. Back then, she accidentally entered the myriad demon mountain, but it was impossible to leave. She wasn't willing to be trapped here for the rest of her life. When she found out that as long as she could make it through the myriad demon path, she would be able to leave, so she entered without any hesitation. Even if she knew it was very difficult, she wanted to leave no matter how long it would take. If 10,000 years were not enough, then 100,000 years. If 100,000 years were not enough, then 1,000,000 years or even a stellar year. She wanted to leave even if she reached the end of her life. Fortunately, her talent was strong enough. She passed the 54th stage in just 10,000 years. This was all thanks to the Fortune Jade Pool. The Fortune Jade Pool allowed her to obtain heaven-defying fortune and undergo an extreme transformation. The phoenix bloodline in her body became extremely shocking and pure. Once she used it, it was like a primordial phoenix had reappeared. Phoenixes were the kings of primordial demons. They had a unique advantage in comprehending demonic arts, which was why she could be so fast. Moreover, the process of comprehending demonic arts was also a kind of learning for her. It allowed her battle prowess and cultivation to become stronger and stronger. However, at this moment, ripples suddenly appeared in the sky above the 55th stage. Then, a figure appeared out of nowhere. Huang Ling was immediately stunned when she saw this figure. Chapter 5043. At the 55th checkpoint of the 10,000 Demons path, the one who appeared out of thin air was naturally Lu Ming. When Huang Ling saw Lu Ming, she was stunned. Her beautiful big eyes were filled with disbelief. She never dreamed that Lu Ming would appear here. Illusion, it must be an illusion. Huang Ling smiled bitterly and whispered, Huang Ling, you're so useless. You're actually hallucinating. Is it because I miss Lu Ming too much? She thought that it was because she missed Lu Ming too much that she was hallucinating. However, the person in front of her was too real. Lu Ming walked toward Huang Ling step by step. His eyes, which were as firm as a sword, were filled with tenderness. Huang Ling, it seems that your hallucination is quite serious. Why would Lu Ming look at you like that? Stop dreaming. Huang Ling continued to whisper. She still firmly believed that it was impossible for Lu Ming to appear here. It must be an illusion. Because this was the 10,000 Demons path inside the 10,000 Demons mountain in the depths of the universe. Lu Ming was far away in the universe's starry sky. There was an endless distance from the depths of the universe, let alone entering the 10,000 Demons mountain and stepping into the 10,000 Demons path. Even if Lu Ming really entered the 10,000 Demons mountain and stepped into the 10,000 Demons path, it was impossible for him to see her. In the 10,000 Demons path, they did not want to see each other. It was even more impossible for him to step through the void like Lu Ming. This was nothing more than an unrealistic fantasy in her heart. Which woman did not want her beloved man to step through the void to see her from hundreds of millions of miles away? Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Although Huang Ling was whispering with her hearing, how could she not hear it? He heard it clearly. Lu Ming felt very guilty. He had let the phoenix spirit down too much. It caused him to reveal an affectionate expression. Huang Ling did not believe it. Lu Ming still walked towards Huang Ling step by step and soon landed in front of her. Silly girl, I let you down in the past. It's my fault. From now on, I won't let you down again, and I won't let you suffer any grievances. Lu Ming said affectionately, his eyes looking straight into Huang Ling's eyes. Why is the hallucination so real this time? It seems that I'm really sick. Huang Ling continued to mumble. Her big eyes sparkled as she stared at Lu Ming. She wanted to imprint Lu Ming's appearance deeply in her mind. Lu Ming. Afterward, Lu Ming reached out and pulled Huang Ling into his arms. Silly girl. Lu Ming's eyes of the 10,000 demons path. He then lowered his head and tapped Huang Ling's face gently. Huang Ling was stunned. This time, she was truly stunned. Lu Ming's arms were strong and powerful. Lu Ming's chest was filled with warmth. She could even feel Lu Ming's heartbeat. Also, she could clearly feel the warmth from Lu Ming's lips and Lu Ming's breathing. Really, all of this was real. It was not a hallucination. Hallucinations could not be so real. Lu Ming had really come here and stepped through the void to find her. Her delicate body trembled and tears streamed down her face. It was as if she wanted to let out all of her grievances and longing. Lu Ming, is that you? Huang Ling asked in a trembling voice. It's me. I'm Lu Ming. I'm here to take you away. Lu Ming said gently. Then, with Huang Ling in his arms, he took a step forward. The void cracked and Lu Ming and Huang Ling disappeared from the place. It was not just because of the Demon King Emperor rune. It was impossible for the Demon King Emperor rune to be so mysterious. It was mainly because Lu Ming had passed through the Myriad Demons path. The Myriad Demons path was no longer an obstacle for Lu Ming. Lu Ming walked on the Myriad Demons path as if he was walking on flat ground. The next moment, Lu Ming left the Myriad Demons path with Huang Ling and appeared in the Myriad Demons mountain at the exit of the Myriad Demons path. This is the entrance of the Myriad Demons path? Huang Ling looked at the surroundings and was even more confused. She had gone through so much to pass the 54th level. Why was she back now? The point was, how did Lu Ming bring her back? Didn't they say that once one entered the Myriad Demons path, they could only move forward and could not retreat? Could it be that Huang Ling suddenly thought of a possibility and her heart beat wildly? However, this possibility was too unbelievable. Lu Ming, did you pass through the Myriad Demons path? In the end, Huang Ling still asked this unbelievable question. Yes, I passed through the Myriad Demons path. Lu Ming nodded. Passed through. Lu Ming passed through. Sure enough, he is still him. He is still so amazing. No matter where he goes, he will not fall behind others. Huang Ling was shocked at first, but she soon calmed down. Wasn't this Lu Ming's usual behavior? It was normal. Lu Ming, how did you get here? By the way, have you seen Sister Mulin's? You must have seen Sister Mulin's. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that I am here. Huang Ling asked a few questions in succession. In the end, she answered her own questions. She was a little excited to see Lu Ming. It's like this. Immediately, Lu Ming briefly told her about his experiences over the years. You actually passed through the Myriad Demons path in just over 100 years. Even though she was full of confidence in Lu Ming, Huang Ling's mouth was still slightly agape when she heard that Lu Ming had passed through the Myriad Demons path in just over 100 years. She was deeply shocked. Let's go and see the Fire Phoenix first. Then, Lu Ming brought Huang Ling back into the Myriad Demons path and appeared at the 19th checkpoint of the Myriad Demons path, where the Fire Phoenix and Huang Ling were. Lu Ming, Huang Ling, why are you here? As soon as Lu Ming and the others appeared, they heard a shocked voice. It was naturally Zhao Qing. She was sitting cross-legged on the stone platform outside the square, meditating to recover. As soon as Lu Ming and Huang Ling appeared, she noticed them and asked subconsciously. Then, she immediately reacted and was extremely excited. How could Lu Ming and Huang Ling appear here? She knew the Myriad Demons path too well. Once one entered, one could not retreat. It was not just a saying. It was real. No one had ever been special. Entering the Myriad Demons path and suddenly appearing here, there was only one possibility. They had passed through the Myriad Demons path. How could she not be excited? This meant that the demons inside the Myriad Demons mountain could leave. However, who had passed through the Myriad Demons path? Was it Lu Ming or Huang Ling? Zhao Qing's gaze circled Huang Ling and Lu Ming, and she immediately made a judgment. Huang Ling. It must be Huang Ling. Lu Ming had only entered the myriad demon's path for 200 years. No matter how talented Lu Ming was, it was impossible for him to pass through the myriad demon's path in 200 years. It was impossible. Moreover, Lu Ming was still a human and not a demon. The difficulty of passing through the myriad demon's path was even greater than that of a demon. It was impossible for it to be Lu Ming. As for Huang Ling, she had already entered the myriad demon's path for more than 10,000 years. Moreover, the phoenix bloodline in Huang Ling's body was extremely rich and was not weaker than her own. With such talent and more than 10,000 years, there was still a trace of possibility. In the past, she did not think that Huang Ling could pass through the myriad demon's path. Passing through the myriad demon's path in more than 10,000 years was also an incredible thing. However, now that the facts were in front of her, she had no choice but to believe it. Huang Ling, congratulations on passing through the myriad demon's path. As expected of someone with my phoenix bloodline, Huang Ling said. Chapter 5044. Zhao Qing stared straight at Huang Ling. His eyes were filled with deep admiration and admiration. To be honest, it was already an incredible miracle to be able to pass through the 10,000 demons path in 10,000 years. It was normal for many people to be trapped in a certain level for tens of thousands of years or even longer. What? Huang Ling was a little confused when she heard Zhao Qing's words. Then, she quickly understood that Zhao Qing had misunderstood and thought that she had passed through the 10,000 demons path. Little Qing, you misunderstood. It's not me who passed through the 10,000 demons path. I'm very ashamed. I only passed the 54th level after 10,000 years. Huang Ling quickly explained. It's not you? Then who is it? Where is he? Zhao Qing's eyes darted around as he searched the surroundings. He thought that someone else had passed through the 10,000 demons path and rescued Lu Ming and Huang Ling. He then brought Huang Ling and Lu Ming here and left. He still did not think of Lu Ming. Lu Ming had only entered the 10,000 demons path for 200 years. Moreover, he was a human. This was simply impossible. It was impossible. He's here. The one who passed through the 10,000 demons path is him. Lu Ming, Huang Ling said. Zhao Qing, the fire phoenix, had his mouth wide open as he stood there in a daze. His eyes were wide open. What did you say? The one who passed through the 10,000 demons path is him? How is this possible? He has only entered the 10,000 demons path for 200 years. Moreover, he's a human. It's impossible for him to comprehend demonic arts so quickly. How can it be him? Zhao Qing shouted in disbelief and almost collapsed. But it's really him. Huang Ling muttered. She did not know how to explain to Zhao Qing. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and touched his nose. Was it incredible to pass through the 10,000 demons path in 200 years? Why didn't he think so? In fact, he had only used 130 years to pass through the 10,000 demons path. He wondered what Zhao Qing's expression would be when he found out. Here, this is for you. It's the reward for passing through the 10,000 demons path. Take this formation plate and you can pass through the 10,000 demons path unimpeded and reach the universe of the 10,000 demons mountain. Lu Ming said, handing over the formation plate he had obtained from the myriad demons path to Zhao Qing. Is this true? Zhao Qing said in a daze. If you don't believe me, you can try using the array plate. Lu Ming said. Zhao Qing revealed a bewildered expression. Was what Lu Ming said true? Did Lu Ming really pass the 10,000 demons path? Was the iron plate in Lu Ming's hand really the reward for clearing the 10,000 demons path? With it, one could travel unimpeded on the 10,000 demons path. She still found it hard to believe, but Lu Ming and Huang Ling had clearly broken through the void and appeared here. She had no choice but to believe it. All right. In the end, Zhao Qing's body flashed with light, and she transformed into a young and beautiful girl wearing a fiery red dress. Then, she picked up the array plate and flew into the square. Immediately, the 10,000 demon path in front of her changed. It was different from before, and a path appeared. She stepped out and disappeared in front of Lu Ming and Huang Ling. Lu Ming and Huang Ling didn't have to wait for too long. Only half an hour later, Zhao Qing's figure reappeared. It's true, it's true. I can freely enter and exit the 10,000 demons path. Zhao Qing's face was full of excitement and ecstasy. She was too excited. Since the destruction of the primordial world, the demons of the 10,000 Demons Mountain had sealed themselves and isolated themselves from the world. It had been countless years, and they couldn't go out. Zhao Qing was born inside the 10,000 Demons Mountain. She couldn't be more familiar with the small 10,000 Demons Mountain, and she was tired of it. Her dream was to walk out of the 10,000 Demons Mountain and go to the legendary primordial world. Now, this dream had finally come true. How could she not be excited? Then, she looked at Lu Ming with burning eyes. She didn't expect that it was really Lu Ming who had passed the 10,000 demons path. A human actually spent only 200 years to pass the 10,000 demons path. What kind of talent was this? The reincarnation of a human king? Cough, cough. Lu Ming blushed when Zhao Qing looked at him. He coughed a few times and said, "After this array is activated, it can cover many people at the same time, and many people can pass the 10,000 demons path at the same time." Great, great, great. Zhao Qing beamed. But now, there are many forces outside the 10,000 Demons Mountain. Creatures of the forbidden areas are dominating. You have to be careful. Lu Ming warned. Creatures of the forbidden areas? Creatures of the forbidden areas have appeared? Lu Ming, tell me in detail about the current situation of the universe. Zhao Qing said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded and immediately told her about the current situation of the primordial world. I see. I didn't expect the primordial world to become like this. But now, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If we grasp it well, maybe the demons can rise again. Zhao Qing whispered. She yearned for the outside world, so she was familiar with all kinds of books about the primordial world and understood a lot of things. Well, you can discuss what to do. Huang Ling and I will leave here first. Lu Ming said. Okay, then we'll see you another day. Zhao Qing hurriedly nodded and couldn't wait to find the other experts of the demon race to discuss this matter. Goodbye. Lu Ming cupped his fists and reached out to grab Huang Ling. Their figures flashed and they headed out of the 10,000 demons path. With Lu Ming leading, they were unimpeded and soon returned to the surface of the 10,000 demons mountain. Then they flew out of the 10,000 demons mountain. Now that 200 years had passed, the restrictions around the 10,000 demons mountain had reappeared and become stronger. However, now that Lu Ming had the Demon King Emperor mark, the restrictions of the 10,000 demons mountain were useless to Lu Ming. The formations of other places were difficult for Lu Ming, but the formations of the demon race were really not difficult for Lu Ming. The Demon King Emperor mark could easily see through all the formations and restrictions of the demon race. Soon, Lu Ming and Huang Ling passed through the restrictions of the 10,000 Demons Mountain and saw a figure waiting anxiously outside. This figure was naturally Mulin's. Mulin's had waited outside the 10,000 Demons Mountain for 200 years. She was really anxious. Could it be that Lu Ming was also trapped in the 10,000 Demons Mountain? Otherwise, why would he not come out after 200 years? Just as she was waiting anxiously, she saw Lu Ming and Huang Ling fly out. Lu Ming, Mulin's was overjoyed and flew over. Sister Mulin's, Huang Ling blushed and withdrew her small hand that was held by Lu Ming. She knew about the relationship between Lu Ming and Mulin's. She felt a little guilty when Lu Ming grabbed her hand in front of Mulin's. Lu Ming naturally knew what Huang Ling was thinking and smiled bitterly in his heart. It seemed that he would have to spend more effort on getting along with the girls in the future. Huang Ling, it's great that you're fine. By the way, what happened after that? Mulin's asked. Huang Ling immediately told her about her experiences over the years. Her experience was actually very simple. After entering the interior of the 10,000 Demons Mountain, she entered the 10,000 Demons path. She spent most of her time in the 10,000 Demons path. After Huang Ling told her, Lu Ming also briefly told her how he rescued Huang Ling. Chapter 50-45. Mulin's was almost numb to the various miracles that Lu Ming had created. Therefore, when she heard that Lu Ming had used 200 years to break through the myriad demon path that the demon race could not break through for countless years, Mulin's heart did not fluctuate at all. She was very calm. The pressure of the origin tribulation has decreased again. Suddenly, Lu Ming let out a soft cry of surprise. Originally, peak divine master existences could feel the pressure brought about by the origin tribulation. Lu Ming discovered that the pressure brought about by the origin tribulation had decreased greatly compared to 200 years ago. However, this was normal. After all, there were only about 300 years left until the end of the origin tribulation. The closer it was to the end of the origin tribulation, the weaker the power of the origin tribulation would be. Let's return to the Ashen Azure Divine Realm first, Lu Ming said. The three of them flew towards the Ashen Azure Divine Realm. After a while, they returned to the Ashen Azure Divine Realm. As soon as they returned to the Ashen Azure Divine Realm, Lu Ming and the others learned two important news. The first was that the early origin realm existences had awakened one after another. The origin tribulation was no longer dangerous to early origin realm existences. Early origin realm existences no longer had to worry about their lives and could move about freely. Of course, the stronger one's cultivation was, the greater the suppression of the origin tribulation. Those above the mid-origin realm could not awaken yet. This was definitely a major event, enough to change the situation of the major forces in the past. In the past, when the origin realm did not appear, the invincible divine master was the strongest and could dominate the battle. Now, the invincible divine master's role would be greatly reduced. No matter how strong the invincible divine master was, he was only a divine master. At most, he was equivalent to the most ordinary origin realm existences. However, how many early origin realm experts were there in the Forbidden Grounds? The Forbidden Grounds and the Ashen Azure Divine Realm were not like the Heaven Destroyer or the Celestial Race. There were only a few hundred origins. Their number of origins was astonishing. It was not something that the Heaven Destroyer or the Celestial Race could compare to. There were even geniuses among these early origin realm existences. It could be said that the invincible divine master no longer had the right to speak, but the origins. Lu Ming was quite depressed. It hadn't been easy for him to cultivate a Genesis technique, and it was very likely that he would be able to break through 5 times. He had thought that he would be invincible under the heavens and that no one would be his match. Who would have thought that an origin realm expert would appear before he could even make a name for himself? Lu Ming was powerful, but he was not arrogant. With his battle prowess, he could deal with regular early reciprocity experts, but he would definitely be done for if he encountered monstrous geniuses of origin. After all, reciprocity cultivators were able to unleash the full power of source-grade divine weapons. The second piece of news was that the peerless prodigy of the Dark Vine clan, Shi Tianting, would be attempting a breakthrough to reciprocity in a month's time. It's possible to attack origins even under the Great Tribulation of Origins? Lu Ming was shocked and couldn't help but exclaim. Of course it's possible. Legend has it that once one breaks through to reciprocity under the Great Tribulation of Origins, they will obtain unimaginable benefits. Their talent and potential will greatly increase. Of course, the difficulty of breaking through is also astonishingly high, and it's also extremely dangerous. Legend has it that countless peerless geniuses have tried to break through to reciprocity under the Great Tribulation of Origins, only to die in the end. It was Han Yu who explained to Lu Ming and the others. So it's possible to break through to reciprocity under the Great Tribulation of Origins. Lu Ming murmured inside, his eyes filled with astonishment. It said that Shi Tianting has long wanted to break through to reciprocity under the Great Tribulation of Origins, but the Great Tribulation of Origins was too powerful in the past, so he didn't dare to take action. Only recently, when the Great Tribulation of Origins weakened a lot, did he begin to prepare to break through. Now, a large number of people from various major forces have already headed to the Great Tribulation of Origins to witness this once-in-a-lifetime event. Originally, I also planned to set off. You guys came back just in time. Do you want to go together? Asked Han Yu. Of course we're going, said Lu Ming. He was also a person with loftier ambitions. Since he could break through to reciprocity under the Great Tribulation of Origins, he would obtain great benefits and raise his upper limit. How could he not be tempted? He naturally wanted to see Shi Tianting break through to reciprocity to broaden his horizons. If possible, he also wanted to break through to reciprocity under the Great Tribulation of Origins. His cultivation base had already reached the limit of a peak godly master. As long as he stabilized for a while, he could begin to break through. Very well then, let's set off together. Han Yu nodded. Great Tribulation of Origins. Great Tribulation of the Primeval Continent in the Last Era. It was a famous mountain that was renowned throughout the world. Shi Tianting had chosen this place for two reasons. First, the environment of this famous mountain was excellent, and the primeval qi was extremely rich. Second, it also meant that Shi Tianting was superior to the heavens. One could see that Shi Tianting's ambitions were loftier than the heavens. When Lu Ming and the others arrived at Great Tribulation of Origins, there were still 10 days before Shi Tianting would break through to reciprocity. At this moment, there was already a sea of people around Great Tribulation of Origins. Humans, 9 demonic spiders, extreme evil tribe, heavenly vine, dark heaven warriors, and icefire tribe. The 6 major forces of the Western universe had all gathered. There were hundreds of thousands of people from each side. There were at least 1 million people present. Now, with the recovery of the primeval universe, there were more and more resources. The number of living beings in the Forbidden Lands also increased. Of course, excluding those in the Origin realm, the living beings in the Forbidden Lands who woke up later were not particularly powerful. There were not many godly Master Realm experts who had broken through to the extreme tribulation. This was because the living beings in the Forbidden Lands had resources in the past. The first ones to wake up were the extreme tribulation experts. He had to awaken the powerful ones first before he could seize more resources. Although there were many living beings in the Forbidden Lands who woke up later, most of them were ordinary godly emperors and godly masters. Lu Ming glanced through the crowd and saw many familiar faces. For example, Zhu Tian of the 9 demonic spiders, Mo Sha and Yi Chan of the extreme evil tribe, and so on. There were also many existences with terrifying auras in the crowd. Without a doubt, these people were all Origin Realm experts. Lu Ming, Mulins, and the others silently mixed in with the human experts. With the help of these human experts, they blocked the view of Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others. If Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others discovered Lu Ming, they would probably go crazy and ask the Origin Realm experts of the two races to deal with Lu Ming. Right now, watching Shi Tianting break through to the Origin Realm was the most important matter. It was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. Fortunately, Zhu Tian and the others' attention was on the heaven-upholding peak. They did not notice Lu Ming's arrival. A figure sat cross-legged on the heaven-upholding peak. It was Shi Tianting. There were at least dozens of heavenly vine experts guarding around Shi Tianting to ensure that he would not be disturbed. Of course, if he really began to break through to the Origin Realm, outsiders could not interfere. If outsiders interfered while breaking through to the Origin Realm during the Origin Tribulation, they would be courting death. Not only would they harm themselves, but they would also implicate the person breaking through. Not only could outsiders not help, but they could not even use their various weapons. Chapter 5046. Lu Ming mixed in with the crowd and listened to the discussions of the people around him. He obtained a lot of useful information. There are 2 main obstacles to breaking through to the Origin Realm under the Great Tribulation of Origin. The first obstacle is how to make the Origin seed sprout and transform into an Origin root under the Great Tribulation of Origin. Not far away, a few old men of the human race were discussing. Just by standing there casually, the old men of the human race gave off a feeling that they were one with the world. This was the Origin Realm. Clearly, these old men of the human race were early Origin Realm cultivators who had recently unsealed themselves and awakened. These people had lived for a long time and knew a lot of secrets. That's right. Under the Great Tribulation of Origin, one will be suppressed by the cosmic sea. It's more than 10 times more difficult to make the Origin seed transform into an Origin root. It's also very dangerous. If you're not careful, the Origin seed will collapse under the pressure of the cosmic sea. At that time, it won't be as simple as the Origin seed collapsing. You'll be completely destroyed, another old man in a silver robe said. This is only the first difficulty. The second difficulty is even more dangerous. Even if you succeed and transform into an origin root, the cosmic sea will still devour the origin root. How to stop the devouring of the cosmic sea is the most important thing. If you dare to break through under the great tribulation of origin, the cosmic sea will become violent and the devouring power will be abnormally strong. If you can't stop it, you'll die. The old man in front continued. Some of the young people in the surroundings turned pale. The difficulty was just too great. Originally, under normal circumstances, breaking through to the origin realm was shockingly difficult and very dangerous. There was a risk of death if one was not careful. Needless to say, under the great tribulation of origin, it was practically a hellish difficulty. This is the difference between a monstrous genius and an ordinary genius. Although this step is dangerous, it's also an opportunity. If you succeed, the gap between a monstrous genius and an ordinary genius will be further widened. Even geniuses of the same level who have passed or not will rapidly widen the gap between them. Legend has it that in the primeval continent of the last epoch, there were peerless monstrous geniuses who specifically searched for universes under the great tribulation of origin. They went to those universes to break through to increase their upper limits and enhance their talent and potential. An old man glanced at the young people and said indifferently, "That's right. Legend has it that the human king Shen Yuan and the ancient queen did this." Another old man said. The young people secretly curled their lips and didn't agree. Human king Shen Yuan and the ancient queen. Who were they? Were they human monarchs? He was a supreme master who dominated the untainted continent. Even creatures in forbidden lands and other universes were frightened by his name. How could they compare with him? One shouldn't bite off more than they can chew. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. Shi Tian, who had been resting with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes and nodded slightly at the experts of the dark sky vine race. The experts of the dark sky vine race around Shi Tian vine quickly retreated and left the towering sky peak. Boom! After the people of the dark vine race left, a powerful aura burst out from Shi Tianting's body. He began to break through. The eyes of the millions of people in the surroundings lit up. Shi Tianting had been adjusting his state before. Now that he had adjusted his state to the peak, he immediately began to break through. Shi Tianting's aura became stronger and stronger as if there was no end to it. His body was surrounded by red and black lights. One could see a ball of light in his body. It was like a sun that emitted a dazzling light. What a powerful aura! Is this the fourth stage of the extreme break? Some origin realm existences looked solemn. They felt pressure just from the aura without making a move. They were shocked by the terrifying strength of the fourth stage of the extreme break. Of course, these were the more ordinary origin realm existences. The truly powerful origin realm existences didn't change their expressions. Shi Tianting's aura was still rising. Lu Ming knew that Shi Tianting was breaking through to the origin realm. It would be crucial when his aura reached the peak. Rumble! Suddenly, the void trembled. Rumbling sounds came from the depths of the void. Then, a terrifying pressure suddenly filled the place. The pressure of the origin tribulation has increased. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. Just now, Lu Ming clearly felt that the pressure of the origin tribulation had increased by a lot. He hasn't broken through yet, but he's already caused a disturbance in the cosmic sea. How shocking! Retreat! The origin realm existences retreated rapidly, retreating billions of kilometers away in an instant to distance themselves from Shi Tianting as soon as possible. The reason why they could break their seal and come out was because the power of the origin tribulation had weakened. It didn't have much effect on early origin realm existences. However, Shi Tianting's breakthrough had caused a disturbance in the cosmic sea, causing the power of the origin tribulation in this area to increase greatly. How could these origin realm existences dare to stay? If they stayed, they would probably die before Shi Tianting could break through. The disturbance in the cosmic sea caused the pressure of the origin tribulation to increase greatly. However, it didn't affect those below the origin realm much. Those below the origin realm didn't retreat and continued to watch. Shi Tianting's aura continued to increase, and the origin seed in his body began to tremble. Everyone knew that it had reached a critical moment. Now, Shi Tianting must be under tremendous pressure. If he wasn't careful, his origin seed would explode, and his entire body would explode, destroying his body and soul. Rumble. The rumbling in the depths of the void continued and became more and more intense. In the next moment, the space in the void actually continued to spin, forming a vortex. Above Shi Tianting, the space distorted and collapsed. Through the distorted space, one could even see an ocean. That was the cosmic sea. The cosmic sea was rolling, and the waves were surging violently. It was breathtaking, as if it was furious. From afar, this vortex looked like an eye that was looking down and corroding Shi Tianting. A crisp sound spread throughout the entire place, causing everyone's hearts to skip a beat. Everyone saw that a crack had appeared on the origin seed of the celestial vine. A crack has appeared on the origin seed. Is Shi Tianting going to fail? Nonsense, that's the state of taking root and germinating. Shi Tianting is going to break through successfully. Many people roared. Chapter 5047. A crack appeared on Shi Tianting's origin energy seed, causing many people to lose their composure. In the beginning, many people thought that Shi Tianting was about to fail, unable to endure any longer. However, they soon discovered that they were wrong. Shi Tianting was about to succeed in his breakthrough. The origin energy seed was about to sprout. Only after the origin energy seed had broken through could it sprout and grow an origin root. As expected, cracking sounds constantly rang out. More and more cracks appeared on Shi Tianting's origin energy seed. A while later, the cracks were like a spider web, densely covering the seed. Afterwards, strands of roots extended from the origin energy seed. These roots spread out, extending to various parts of Shi Tianting's body. The existence of origin energy, the roots of the origin root, took root in various parts of the body, covering it like veins. Above the origin root was the vast ocean, connecting to the cosmic sea. As for the soul, it would enter the origin root, borrowing the origin energy of the origin root to nourish and strengthen the soul. As a result, the origin root was extremely important to origin realm existences. Once the origin root was destroyed, the consequences would be extremely severe. More and more roots appeared on Shi Tianting's origin energy seed, extending to every part of his body. Afterwards, the origin energy seed slowly grew upwards, and an origin root slowly appeared. The origin root seemed like a meridian, but it was actually completely condensed from origin energy. It was extremely tough, comparable to divine weapons. Generally speaking, it was very difficult to shatter. Origin realm existences had a way to preserve their lives. Once their origin root was attacked and on the verge of shattering, cultivators could escape into the roots of the origin root to protect their soul. This was because the roots of the origin root were rooted in the body. As long as the body was not completely destroyed, a new origin root could be grown through the roots in the body. As a result, origin realm existences possessed extremely tenacious vitality. Killing them was very difficult, unless the body was reduced to ashes or the soul was destroyed with lightning speed. Although origin realm existences could theoretically survive even if their origin root was destroyed, no one had ever tried it. Firstly, once the origin root was destroyed, you might not be able to grasp the opportunity to escape into the roots with your soul. Many people's souls didn't even have time to escape the instant their origin roots were destroyed. Secondly, even if one's soul managed to escape into the roots and preserve one's life, if one's origin root was destroyed, it would be extremely difficult to regrow it. The amount of resources required would be astonishing, and it might even affect one's future cultivation path. After all, monstrous geniuses who could break through and rebuild themselves were too rare. As time passed, the origin root of the heaven-seeding vine grew longer and longer, thicker and thicker. In the end, it stopped growing when it was an inch long. One could see that the origin root of the heaven-seeding vine was a mixture of white and red. It looked like a beautiful piece of jade. Success! The origin roots that have just broken through are all 1 inch long. The celestial vine has successfully broken through. Impressive. To be able to successfully break through under the Great Source Tribulation, he is truly a monster. I wonder what level the Celestial Vine source energy is. It shouldn't be low level, right? Nonsense. With Shi Tianting's talent, his source energy can't be low level. It's at least mid-level. Many people were discussing this matter. Origin roots were also divided into different grades. They were divided into low level, mid-level, high level, and peak level. Before breaking through to the origin realm, the stronger the power one controlled, the higher the grade would be after it was converted into origin energy. Of course, the majority of cultivators would have low-level origin roots after breaking through to the origin realm. This included many monstrous geniuses, even those who had broken through once or twice, but their origin roots were all low-level. It was simply too difficult to form a mid-level origin root. Only those who had broken through 3 times would have mid-level origin roots after breaking through to the origin world because the power they originally controlled was excessively strong. For example, Shi Tianting, who had broken through 4 times, would definitely have mid-level origin roots after breaking through to the origin realm. As for high-level origin roots, it was even more difficult. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It was basically impossible for someone who had just broken through to the origin realm to form a high-level origin root. Even 4 times would not be enough. Of course, there were unparalleled monstrous geniuses who had broken through 5 times in the great desolate continent of the previous epoch. As for whether or not they could do it, that was unknown. As for peak-level origin roots, it was simply impossible for someone who had just broken through to the origin realm to form one. It was simply impossible. However, the grade of the origin root was not completely fixed. After breaking through to the origin realm, it was still possible to continue increasing it if there was a fortuitous encounter. It was just too difficult. The higher the grade of the origin root, the greater the power of the origin realm. There were many factors that affected a person's battle prowess at the origin realm. Their cultivation base, the strength of their genesis arts, their divine weapons and armors, and the grade of their origin roots. Of course, there was also their battle experience, battle awareness, and so on. Their cultivation base was only one aspect. Therefore, Lu Ming smiled bitterly when he heard that those at the early origin realm could move freely. Some existences seemed to only be at the early origin realm, but their battle prowess was unbelievably terrifying. Although Lu Ming might have broken through 5 times, it was still better to keep a low profile. It's too early for you to be happy. Shi Tianting has only passed the first trial. Forming an origin root under the origin tribulation is the most dangerous part. An old man said coldly. Many people's expressions changed, especially the members of the Vine race on a cloudy day. They were even more worried. When one's origin root was destroyed in a battle, one's soul could still escape into the root hairs, and there was still the possibility of growing a new origin root. However, under the origin tribulation, the cosmic sea would not only devour the origin root, but also the root hairs. It would be truly uprooted without any luck. Rumble. At that moment, the rumbling in the void became louder. The cosmic sea seemed to be furious, and the terrifying pressure became even stronger. The whirlpool spun rapidly, and then a terrifying devouring force acted on Shi Tianting's body. It had begun. Everyone was shocked, knowing that the most critical moment had arrived. If Shi Tianting could not endure it, everything he had done before would be in vain, and he would die. If he could endure it, his future would be bright. As long as he did not die, he would definitely become an immortal. Buzz. One could see that Shi Tianting's newly grown origin root was shaking violently, as if it was about to leave his body. No one can take away my origin root, not even the cosmic sea. Shi Tianting roared, and the aura of his entire body erupted. The origin force covered his entire body to resist the devouring force from the cosmic sea. Under Shi Tianting's full resistance, his origin root temporarily stabilized. However, the rumbling of the cosmic sea became even louder, and it seemed to be even more violent. An even more terrifying devouring force erupted. Shi Tianting's body trembled violently, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Chapter 5048. An even more terrifying devouring force erupted from the cosmic sea. Shi Tianting's body trembled, and he coughed up blood. His face turned pale. Many people cried out in alarm. Could it be that Shi Tianting couldn't hold on any longer? Was Shi Tianting's Genesis root about to be devoured? Shi Tianting coughed up a few more mouthfuls of blood. The origin force that covered his body trembled and began to disperse. Even his body began to slowly decay, and wisps of flesh and blood were slowly dissipating. The cosmic sea was going to devour even his flesh and blood. Shi Tianting had used his body and origin force to envelop the Genesis root to protect it and prevent it from being devoured. The cosmic sea was very domineering, and it wanted to destroy the defensive object first. It wanted to destroy the defensive object first, then devour the Genesis root and completely eliminate Shi Tianting. Not good. The heavenly Yin Vine people were the most worried. Was Shi Tianting going to fail and die? What a pity. Shi Tianting had already reached this step and successfully stepped into the origin force. From now on, his achievements would be limitless. There was a broad path in front of him that would lead directly to the immortal Tao. He was destined to have a bright future. His death was an irreparable loss for the heavenly Yin Vine race. Of course, some people were secretly happy. These people were from other forbidden lands. For example, the 9 Yin demonic spider and the extreme evil race. They were competitors with the heavenly Yin Vine race, and they didn't want to see a heaven-defying genius born in the heavenly Yin Vine race. Once he grew, it wouldn't benefit them at all. Shi Tianting hasn't reached his limit yet. There's still a chance. Lu Ming's eyes were bright as he stared at the battlefield. He had fought with Shi Tianting before, and he knew how powerful Shi Tianting was. It could be said that Shi Tianting wasn't any weaker than him before he comprehended Genesis techniques. He only won because he was born and raised in this universe and had an innate advantage. He didn't believe that Shi Tianting would die just like that. Shi Tianting roared, and his origin force crazily erupted. His body was covered in divine light, and then his body rapidly transformed into a vine. The vine was pitch black like black iron and filled with yin qi. This was the main body of the celestial vines, a powerful celestial yin vine. After the celestial vines transformed into their original form, they began to grow rapidly. From a few meters long, they quickly grew to millions of meters long. Countless vines extended from them, and these vines took root in the void. The air was grabbed by the vines and gathered toward the celestial seat vine, forming a layer of defense for the celestial seat vine. After reverting to his original form, the origin root in Shi Tianting's body became much more stable. Rumble! The cosmic ocean was roaring, and the void was shaking. The terrifying devouring power kept erupting, and it was in a stalemate with Seat Heaven Vine. Time ticked by. The hearts of the onlookers were in their throats. Everyone knew that every minute and every second was crucial for Shi Tianting. Perhaps in the next moment, Shi Tianting would be unable to withstand the pressure and be defeated. The situation of Celestial Vine was indeed not good. As time passed, he looked very miserable. Many of his vines were rotting, collapsing, and collapsing. The heavenly Yin Vine, which was originally several million meters long and covered the entire sky, was slowly shrinking. It went from several million meters to hundreds of thousands of meters, tens of thousands of meters, thousands of meters. 2 hours later, only a few meters long trunk was left of the celestial seat vine's original form. But at this moment, things took a turn for the better. The roaring in the void began to weaken, and the eye-like vortex in the void also began to shrink. Through the vortex, the cosmic ocean was slowly calming down. It was no longer surging and roaring. In the void, the terrifying pressure continued to decrease. It was going to pass. The onlookers had mixed feelings. They knew that Shi Tianting had withstood the origin tribulation and successfully broken through to the origin realm. It was heaven-defying. Among them, the people of the heavenly Yin Vine race were the most excited. Their race was going to produce an unparalleled powerhouse. He has withstood it. Looks like it's not completely impossible to break through under the origin tribulation. If Shi Tianting can do it, so can I. Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes were filled with determination. There was another person who was as determined as Lu Ming. This person was from the Dark Heavens warrior race. He was as famous as Shi Tianting. He was one of the only 2 people in the universe who had broken through 4 times. If Shi Tianting could do it, so could he. His eyes were filled with determination. Other than the 2 of them, the other prodigies could only be envious. Shi Tianting had only succeeded in breaking through when he was on the brink of death. They were far inferior to Shi Tianting. Forcefully breaking through under the origin tribulation was courting death. Suddenly, the vortex in the void completely disappeared. But before the vortex disappeared, a beam of energy flew out from the cosmic ocean and shot at Shi Tianting. When this beam of energy landed on Shi Tianting, it quickly sank into his body. It could be seen that Shi Tianting's originally broken body was rapidly cultivating. The vines grew back and looked even tougher. Not only that, but the origin root in Shi Tianting's body was also changing. It was rapidly becoming thicker and longer. The origin root itself became more solid and emitted a dazzling luster. Everyone present, including the origin realm cultivators, was filled with envy. They knew that this was a gift from the cosmic ocean. Only those who succeeded in breaking through under the origin tribulation could receive a gift from the cosmic ocean. The gift from the cosmic ocean was no small matter. This energy could transform Shi Tianting. Not only would his physical body become stronger, but his origin root and soul would also be transformed. It could be said that Shi Tianting's origin root, or the power of the origin, had become stronger. Could it be that Shi Tianting's origin root has reached the advanced level? Someone asked in shock. With Shi Tianting's talent, even if he broke through under normal conditions, his origin root would definitely be at the intermediate level. Now that he had received a gift from the cosmic ocean, his origin root had transformed and become an advanced level? It's hard to say. In history, there are too few examples of successful breakthroughs under the origin tribulation. Moreover, everyone's talent and potential are different. The gifts they receive will also be different. No one can say for sure. Yes, maybe it has really evolved to the advanced level, or maybe it's still at the intermediate level. Some of the older generation figures were talking. They knew even more secrets. Just because one had broken through 4 times didn't mean that one could successfully break through to the source realm under the great calamity of the source realm. There were too many things involved. One's personal strength was the opposite, but there was also willpower, talent, potential, and so on. In history, there was no lack of existences who had broken through 4 times. They had broken through under the origin tribulation, but there were very few who succeeded. There were even existences who had broken through 5 times, but they did not succeed and died. Therefore, there was very little information left behind. Chapter 5049. Shi Tianting's physical body recovered rapidly. When he was fully recovered, he reverted back to his human form. At the same time, the energy between heaven and earth gathered towards Shi Tianting in a frenzy. Shi Tianting's aura rose rapidly. A terrifying pressure radiated from Shi Tianting's body. Many people in the surroundings constantly retreated. They felt like several hundred planets were pressing down on them. Shi Tianting's presence skyrocketed. This process lasted for several hours. Finally, Shi Tianting's presence completely stabilized. However, the pressure was still extremely powerful. It was even stronger than before. The peak of early reciprocity. Not only has he completely stabilized his cultivation after breaking through, he's even reached the peak of early reciprocity. Is this the benefit of breaking through under the origin crisis? That's not all. His body, soul, and origin root have all transformed. And that's just on the surface. The most important thing is his talent and potential, a few reciprocity experts exclaimed in shock. Their eyes were filled with envy. He had reached the peak of early reciprocity as soon as he broke through. Who knew how much time he had saved compared to ordinary people? His body, soul, and origin root had all transformed, becoming even more powerful. These benefits were enough to make people green with envy. However, these were only on the surface. They could be seen. The most important thing was talent and potential. Even if they increased, others would not be able to see it. For example, if one's comprehension ability increased, others would not be able to see it. These were the most important things. They were related to one's future achievements and limits. The breathing of many young geniuses became ragged. Desire filled their eyes. Breaking through under the origin crisis would bring just too many benefits. It was difficult for them to remain calm. Swish. At that moment, Shi Tianting, who had his eyes closed the entire time, finally opened them. His eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. Anyone who met his gaze would feel a great pressure. Even the veteran reciprocity experts did not dare to look him in the eye. It could be said that although Shi Tianting had just broken through to reciprocity, he basically stood at the peak of early reciprocity. There were not many who could match him. Shi Tianting had already comprehended Genesis techniques. As for weapons and armors, Shi Tianting had already possessed them. They were all top origin grade weapons and armors. As for origin roots, Shi Tianting had to be at least mid-origin grade. Just how many early reciprocity experts possessed them? It could be said that as soon as Shi Tianting broke through the origin, his battle prowess skyrocketed. Wu Ju, if you can't make a breakthrough under the origin source tribulation, you will no longer be a match for me. Shi Tianting's gaze landed on a burly figure in black armor. This figure was called Wu Ju. He was the peerless genius who was as famous as Shi Tianting in the past. Wu Ju's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. He knew that it was pointless to say anything now. The current Shi Tianting was indeed undefeatable. Before he broke through under the origin tribulation, it was useless to say anything. Instead, it would be laughable. Moreover, Shi Tianting was correct. If he could not make a breakthrough before the origin tribulation, the gap between him and Shi Tianting would be irreparable. He would never be a match for Shi Tianting. He didn't say anything, but in his heart, he was even more determined. He had to break through under the great tribulation of origins. Then, Shi Tianting's gaze leaped over the crowd and landed on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, I know you're here. When I just broke through, I merged with the universe and my spiritual perception was sharp. I've already sensed you. Shi Tianting spoke again. Lu Ming is here? Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others looked in Lu Ming's direction with cold gazes. As soon as they observed carefully, Lu Ming couldn't hide even if he wanted to. He was immediately discovered. Lu Ming smiled faintly and took a step forward. Since he had been discovered, there was no need to hide. It really is Lu Ming. Immediately, countless gazes looked at Lu Ming in unison. Some were curious, while some were gloating. 200 years ago, Lu Ming defeated Shi Tianting. Would Shi Tianting seek revenge on Lu Ming now? Lu Ming looked straight at Shi Tianting without fear. He understood that with his current combat strength, it was impossible for him to be a match for Shi Tianting, who had broken through. However, if Shi Tianting really wanted to fight, he wouldn't avoid the battle. If he really couldn't win, he could just hide in the great desolate ring. Since he had been discovered, he could only face it. Lu Ming, I have to thank you. To everyone's surprise, Shi Tianting actually said those words. Even Lu Ming was surprised. Being defeated by you has made me realize my shortcomings, allowing me to make up for my weaknesses and strengthen my Dao heart. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to achieve a breakthrough under the origin tribulation. Shi Tianting continued. Lu Ming didn't say anything, but he sighed in his heart. Shi Tianting was really a terrifying opponent. After being defeated by him, not only did he not suffer a setback, he became even stronger and finally completed his transformation. Lu Ming had never seen such an opponent in his life. Even Lu Ming was impressed. I really want to fight with you again, but now is not the time. You haven't broken through to the origin realm, so you're not a match for me. Lu Ming, I'll wait for you. When you break through to the origin realm, we'll fight again. I hope you won't disappoint me. Shi Tianting said in a gentle voice, but his gentle tone was filled with strong confidence. Before Lu Ming broke through to the origin realm, he wouldn't bother to fight. He wanted to wait for Lu Ming to break through to the origin realm before fighting with Lu Ming. Alright, when I break through to the origin realm, we'll fight again. However, I'll tell you this. If I can beat you once, I can beat you again. Lu Ming replied in a very strong and confident manner. Ah, good. I hope that day will come soon. Shi Tianting laughed loudly. Senior sister, Huang Ling, let's go. At this moment, Lu Ming pulled Mulin's and Huang Ling and quickly retreated. Lu Ming, where do you think you're going? Since you've shown yourself, you still want to leave? Stay. With a few angry roars, Zhu Tian and Imo Sha charged at Lu Ming. Apart from them, several other Origin Realm experts from the two clans also charged at Lu Ming. These people's eyes were filled with thick killing intent. Zhu Tian and Imo Sha were especially furious. When they thought of how Lu Ming had suppressed them in the past and even used them to exchange for top-grade source-level divine medicines, their killing intent towards Lu Ming surged. They wanted nothing more than to grind Lu Ming's bones to dust. Let's go! Lu Ming retreated with Mulin's and Huang Ling. However, these Origin Realm experts were clearly extraordinary. They were all early Origin Realm experts. Their speed was astonishing. They quickly approached Lu Ming and erupted with their Origin Realm strength. Several terrifying attacks tore through the void and charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt a huge pressure. The battle prowess of these Origins was very strong. The people from the two clans knew beforehand that Lu Ming had the battle prowess of a 4-time Origin Realm expert, so the ones who attacked were naturally not ordinary Origin Realm experts. They were all Origin Realm experts who were confident in suppressing Lu Ming. Chapter 50-50. The 9 demonic spider and several powerful Origin Realm experts of the extreme evil race launched attacks at Lu Ming. Space shattered as violent energy surged towards Lu Ming. It was an astonishing sight. These people were all extremely powerful. They could be regarded as experts among early reciprocity experts. They had all comprehended Genesis techniques and possessed soul-grade weapons. Lu Ming felt a tremendous pressure and was about to use his full strength to block the attacks. At this moment, a streak of black sword light appeared and sliced through space. The attacks of the Origin Realm experts were severed by the black sword light and dispersed in the air. Shi Tianting, what are you doing? Zhu Tian roared. The person who had blocked the attacks for Lu Ming was actually Shi Tianting. Lu Ming was also stunned. He never thought that Shi Tianting would intervene. He was about to use his Genesis techniques to block the attacks, but he stopped. Lu Ming just challenged me to a battle, yet you attacked him. What, are you looking down on me? Shi Tianting said coldly. Shi Tianting, we have no intention of opposing you. Lu Ming has a great enmity with us. We're just taking revenge. Imo Sha explained. I wouldn't care if you attacked somewhere else, but I'm definitely going to interfere today. A bunch of Origin Realm experts working together against a single divine master. How shameful. Aren't you ashamed? Shi Tianting sneered mockingly. Zhu Tian, Imo Sha and the others flushed red. They roared inside, you're amazing. Do you think everyone is as amazing as you? If we don't use our Origin Realm experts, how can we deal with Lu Ming? Of course, they could only roar inside. They did not dare to say it out loud. Shi Tianting was just too powerful. He was basically unmatched among early Origin Realm experts. Even if the Origin Realm experts of their two races work together, they might not be Shi Tianting's opponent. Lu Ming, you can leave, but I can only help you once. If you die at the hands of those rascals in the future, it means you're not worthy of being my opponent. Shi Tianting said to Lu Ming, his tone still arrogant. Thank you. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Although Shi Tianting was arrogant, he had a good character. He would remember Shi Tianting's help. If Shi Tianting did not make a move today, with his strength, he might not be able to escape unscathed. After that, Lu Ming took Huang Ling and Mulin's and retreated. Zhu Tian, Imo Sha, and the others stared coldly at Lu Ming, Mulin's, and Huang Ling. Since Shi Tianting was stopping them here, they would follow him in secret and make their move after leaving this area. Seniors, let's go back to the Azure Divine Realm. Among the crowd, Han Yu said loudly to some of the origins of the human race. Alright, in any case, Shi Tianting has already successfully broken through. It's time to leave. Let's go back together. The origins of the human race were all shrewd people. How could they not understand what Han Yu meant? Han Yu wanted to invite them to go with Lu Ming and the others to avoid being ambushed by the 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil race. They had heard of Lu Ming's name a long time ago. With an inferior bloodline, He had the battle strength of a 4-time extreme evil race expert. Such a monster belonged to the human race. How could they watch Lu Ming be killed? All of a sudden, the human experts and Lu Ming headed in the direction of the Tsangqing divine realm. Damn it, Zhu Tian Mo Sha, and the others roared in their hearts. With so many origins of the human race together, they had no chance to attack. If they attacked by force, would they start a war with the Azure divine realm? They could not represent the 9 Yin demonic spiders and the extreme evil race. They only represented a faction of the 2 races. They could not make the decision to start a war with the Azure divine realm. At the end of the day, they wanted to kill Lu Ming because of a personal grudge. The 9 Yin demonic spiders and the extreme evil race would not start a war with the Azure divine realm for them. Now that the early stage origin realm had awakened, the various factions had become stronger and had more experts. Once a war broke out, it would involve more people. A war could cause the loss of many origins. This made the various factions even more cautious than before. In the past, no matter how they fought, the ones who died were divine lords and god emperors. For the beings of the Forbidden Lands, it was easy to cultivate god emperors and divine lords. However, it was difficult to cultivate origins. Origins were definitely the backbone of their strength. They could not afford to lose them. Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others could only watch as Lu Ming and the others disappeared before their eyes. There will always be a chance in the future. There are still 300 years before the origin tribulation ends. There will be plenty of chances. Zhu Tian roared in his heart. His eyes were extremely cold. After Shi Tianting successfully broke through, the surrounding factions also left. The area became peaceful. Lu Ming, Mulins, and Huang Ling followed the human experts to the Azure Divine Realm. On the way, human origins constantly greeted Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded and replied to them. In general, the humans of the Azure Divine Realm were very friendly. They did not look down on Lu Ming because of his inferior bloodline. People like Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao were in the minority after all. The current human race was not like the human race of the previous epoch. The human race was not as strong as it had been in the primeval continent. They were also not as arrogant as before. In general, they got along quite well. After more than 20 days, they returned to the Azure Divine Realm. Miss Hanyu, did anything major happen in the universe in the 200 years I was gone? After returning to the Azure Divine Realm, Lu Ming invited Hanyu to meet up and ask about what had happened in the years he was gone. The only major thing is that Shi Tianting broke through. There is nothing else, but there is something interesting that you might be interested in. Hanyu said. Interesting? What is it? Lu Ming asked curiously. The 3 of you are from the Eastern Universe, right? Recently, there have been quite a number of people from the Eastern Universe. Hanyu said. People from the Eastern Universe. Lu Ming's eyes flashed and he asked, who are they? What do they look like? Miss Hanyu, can you tell me more about them? Lu Ming's interest was immediately piqued when he heard that people from the Eastern Universe had come. About 100 years ago, many strange races suddenly appeared in the Western Universe, which attracted the attention of the 6 major forces in the Western Universe. The human race also sent people to investigate. In the end, they concluded that these strange races were also creatures from the Forbidden Lands, but they were not from the Western Universe, but from the Eastern Universe. According to the ancient records, they should be the Yuanguang race, the Baleful Yin race, and the Tsangming race. Hanyu said. They are creatures from the Forbidden Lands in the Eastern Universe. Why would they come to the Western Universe? Lu Ming was puzzled. I'm not sure. 100 years ago, those who came from the Eastern Universe were all below the origin level. In the past few decades, because the early stage of the origin level could move freely, the origin level of the 3 races kept coming to the Western Universe to join those who came before. They became stronger and stronger, but they didn't contact the major forces in the Western Universe, nor did they occupy any resources, so the major forces didn't care. But through observation, the 3 races in the Eastern Universe should be looking for something. Hanyu explained. Chapter 50-51. What are they looking for? Lu Ming murmured with a thoughtful look on his face. The three clans of the Forbidden Lands had joined hands to come to the Western universe. They must have come through the void. What were they looking for after spending so much time and effort to come to the Western universe? The strange thing is that they have never left the 9 Elements Forbidden Land since more than 10 years ago. Han Yu continued. The 9 Elements Forbidden Land? Is it also a forbidden land? Lu Ming couldn't help but ask. The 9 Elements Forbidden Land was not among the 5 forbidden lands in the Western universe. Yes, the 9 Elements Forbidden Land is also a terrifying forbidden land. It was as famous as the 9 demonic ruins and the extreme evil land during the Eldritch Continent era. There was also a group of terrifying creatures living there. However, it was destroyed by human King Xian Yuan during the Eldritch Continent era. Han Yu said, it was destroyed by human King Xian Yuan. Lu Ming, Mulins, and Huang Ling were shocked. During the Eldritch Continent era, there were actually many similar forbidden lands. There were terrifying creatures living there. Some of these creatures were dormant, but some often caused trouble. Some of the terrible disasters in the history of the Eldritch Continent might have been caused by these creatures. Therefore, some of the peerless experts in the Eldritch Continent had a lot of conflicts with these creatures. There were even peerless experts who directly killed their way into the Forbidden Lands and destroyed them. Legend has it that human King Xian Yuan once destroyed 2 forbidden lands. Human King Xing Shi and the ancient queen had done the same thing. Otherwise, there would be more such forbidden lands. The 9 Elements Forbidden Land is one of the 2 forbidden lands that were destroyed by the human King Xian Yuan. However, these forbidden lands have astonishing origins and profound foundations. Their strength is also beyond imagination, especially the 9 Elements Forbidden Land. It is said that after the human King Xian Yuan killed his way into the 9 Elements Forbidden Land, a world-shaking battle broke out. In that battle, the human King Xian Yuan was injured. His heart was pierced by a sharp sword, leaving behind a drop of his heart's blood which turned into a vast ocean. Han Yu was very excited as he talked about these stories. However, Lu Ming's mind was blown. He had a flash of inspiration and grasped the key point. Human King Xian Yuan killed his way into the 9 Elements Forbidden Land. A great battle broke out there. Human King was injured. His heart was pierced by a sharp sword, leaving behind a drop of blood. The sovereign personage's blood. The 3 races of the Forbidden Area have not left the 9 Elements Forbidden Area for 10 years. Could it be that they are here for the sovereign personage's blood? What do they want the human monarch's blood for? Could it be for the human king's body? That's right, the human king's heart. Lu Ming's mind spun rapidly. In the end, he suddenly thought of the human king's heart. Could it be that the 3 races of the Forbidden Lands were searching for the sovereign personage's heart? By the way, are there any other races other than the 3 forbidden races? Lu Ming asked. There seems to be. I've heard that someone recorded the appearances of those people using a breath shadow stone from afar. I'll go and find a copy for you to see. After saying that, Han Yu left. Half an hour later, Han Yu returned. While he was at it, he brought back a rest shadow stone. Activating the rest shadow stone, an image immediately appeared in the air. A large group of figures appeared in the image. There were at least 500 of them. It really was the 3 races of the Forbidden Lands. Lu Ming could tell with a single glance that there were indeed 3 races of the Forbidden Lands in the image. Moreover, there were many faces that Lu Ming was familiar with, such as Origin 4 Extremities, Origin 5 Extremities, Gaishak, Nether Fiend King, and so on. Of course, there were even more unfamiliar faces. There were middle-aged people and old people. However, even through the breath shadow stone, he could sense the powerful auras of these people. Clearly, these people were all existences in the Origin realm. The 3 races of the Forbidden Lands had mobilized a shocking number of Origin realm experts. It was evident how much importance they attached to this matter. Ye Immortal. Soon after, Lu Ming saw a rather familiar figure in the crowd. It was the strongest ancestor of the celestial race, Ye Immortal. As expected, Ye Immortal is among them. This confirms my thoughts. It must be Ye Immortal who urged the 3 races of the Forbidden Lands to work together again. Their goal is to find the human monarch's heart so that we don't have to gather the complete body of the human monarch. Lu Ming understood when he saw Yi Immortal. All of this must be prompted by Yi Immortal. Yi Immortal had lived for a very long time. His thoughts were mysterious and cunning. They must have grasped some method to find the location of the human monarch's heart using the blood from his heart. No, the human monarch's heart can't fall into their hands. I must get it, Lu Ming murmured. He had already guessed most of the matter. At this moment, the three races of the Forbidden Lands and Yi Immortal's group stood on a mountain peak in the 9 Elements Forbidden Land. In front of them was a huge crater that spanned 1,000,000 square kilometers. The crater had clearly dried up. The bottom was blood red, as if it had been soaked in blood. Just what cultivation did human monarch Xian Yuan possess? Just a drop of his heart's blood was enough to create a crater that spanned 1,000,000 square kilometers in the 9 Elements Forbidden Land. It destroyed a large area of primitive mountains and formed a sea of blood. It's just that too much time has passed and the blood has dried up. An origin from the primordial light race sighed in amazement. Human monarch Xian Yuan was an existence that stood at the apex of the primeval continent. Even across the many universes, he was a peak expert. He's obviously not someone we can imagine. Another person sighed. Didn't an existence like that die too? We're about to succeed. Before long, we'll be able to refine the blood from human monarch Xian Yuan's heart and use it as a guide to find the human monarch's heart. A young man from the Baleful Een race said coldly and arrogantly. This young man from the Baleful Een race was a peak genius of his race. He was not much older than Gaishak, Infernal Fiend King, and the others, but he was already at the early origin realm. He was arrogant and unruly, looking down on everyone. From his words, it was as if he did not even take the human monarch seriously. To the side, Yi Immortal showed a look of disdain. This kind of person had never seen the strength and terror of a human monarch. He had seen it before. If this kind of person really encountered a human monarch, they would be reduced to ashes with just a breath. The three races of the Forbidden Land worked together and set up a formation in the crater before them. They were refining the human monarch's heart's blood that had seeped into it. They had been working on it for almost 10 years. It would not be long before they succeeded. Of course, the human monarch's heart's blood had been here for countless years. They could not refine a complete drop of it. They only needed to refine a portion. The three races of the Forbidden Land had only found this method after rummaging through ancient books. With a portion of the human monarch's heart's blood as a guide, they could find the exact location of the human monarch's heart. They would succeed in a few months or a year at most. The Azure Divine Realm. After Lu Ming learned of this, he immediately decided that he had to stop it. He planned to immediately set off for the 9 Elements Forbidden Land. Chapter 50-52. Lu Ming, there are so many experts in the Forbidden Grounds. It'll be dangerous for you to go alone, said Han Yu. I won't act rashly. I'm only going to investigate the situation first. There's something else I need your help with. Can you help me find some people to spread the news along the way? Asked Lu Ming. Now that so many early reciprocity experts had been mobilized, Lu Ming was not stupid enough to fight them head-on. That would be courting death. Lu Ming only planned to investigate the situation first and ask Han Yu to help him find some people to spread the news along the way. After all, communication jade talismans would not work if they were too far apart. They would need some people to receive them along the way, like a relay station. That way, the news could be spread quickly. Lu Ming planned to hide and observe first. If the three races had really found the location of the human monarch's heart, he would spread the news. He believed that the various large organizations in the Western universe would be interested in the human monarch's heart. When the time came, he would be able to take advantage of the situation. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to take the human monarch's heart in front of the three races with just Mulans, Huangling, and Qiuqiu. That's easy. Han Yu agreed. With Han Yu's influence in the Ashen Azure Divine Realm, finding some people to spread the news along the way was very simple. Soon, all the people were found. Lu Ming immediately set off with them. Mulans and Huangling were obviously worried. They wanted to go with Lu Ming, but Lu Ming turned them down sternly. He told them to stay in the Ashen Azure Divine Realm and wait for the news. Lu Ming quickly made his way to the forbidden grounds of 9 elements. Along the way, he would leave someone to spread the news. Communication jade talismans could reach him within this distance. Over a dozen days later, Lu Ming approached the forbidden grounds of 9 elements alone. The territory of the 9 elements forbidden land was very large. Although the living beings of the 3 forbidden lands, including the primordial light clan, had sent people to patrol the area, their numbers were limited. It was impossible for them to monitor the entire area. Lu Ming easily found a gap and rushed in. The 9 elements forbidden land was in ruins. The originally solid ground was now full of cracks. The cracks extended forward as if they had been slashed by a battle sword. Lu Ming speculated that this was most likely left behind by human King Shen Yuan when he killed his way into the 9 elements forbidden land. After that, Lu Ming activated his demonic monarch runes. Mysterious runes appeared on each of his eyeballs. He was checking if there was a formation in the 9 elements forbidden land. The other forbidden lands all had a terrifying formation. That kind of formation was far beyond the origin grade, and it was very likely that it was related to the Immortal Tao. It was extremely terrifying. As Shao Chun circulated his Fei King Emperor mark, veined patterns appeared in front of him. It was an array pattern. However, they were all incomplete. There were both the earth and the void, but they were very damaged. They couldn't form a formation at all. They were no longer a threat. If this formation was intact, it would be extremely terrifying. But it's completely torn apart. Was it done by human King Shen Yuan? The power of a human king is so terrifying, Lu Ming exclaimed. The power of a human king was immeasurable. No one knew how strong he was. The forbidden land was flattened just like that. Such forbidden lands were terrifying places even during the Eldritch continent. Countless overlords were terrified when talking about them. They had an extremely deep foundation. The power displayed by the forbidden lands was only the tip of the iceberg. The most important thing was that the true power of these forbidden lands couldn't appear under the origin source tribulation. Otherwise, the Heaven Destroyer and the heavenly human race wouldn't have existed. Even in the prosperous Eldritch continent, there were countless experts and immortals. It was enough to imagine that these forbidden lands were terrifying. However, Lu Ming immediately thought of the human king's body. Legend had it that the human king was killed by an enemy. His body was divided into 7 parts and sealed in 7 different places. Even someone as strong as the human king was killed without a complete corpse. How terrifying was his enemy? What kind of enemy did he encounter in the Eldritch continent? Lu Ming observed for a while and found that there was no danger. His figure flashed and he went deeper into the 9 elements forbidden land. There weren't many people from the 3 races in the forbidden land. It was impossible for them to monitor the vast 9 elements forbidden land. In fact, when Lu Ming came in, he didn't see anyone. However, there were many surveillance formations everywhere. Obviously, they were set up by the 3 races in the forbidden land to monitor. However, Lu Ming now had the monarch marks of the monster race. These surveillance formations couldn't hide from Lu Ming's eyes. Lu Ming easily avoided these formations and went deeper into the 9 elements forbidden land. Ye Immortal and the 3 races in the forbidden land. Suddenly, Lu Ming saw a large number of figures. There were no less than 500 of them. Among them were the Ye Immortal, Gaishak, the Infernal Fiend King, Yuan Siji, and so on. He had arrived. Lu Ming restrained his aura. With a flash of his figure, he hid in a dilapidated mountain peak nearby. He hid among a pile of rocks and carefully observed the situation. It was similar to what he had seen in the breathing shadow stone. The 3 races in the forbidden land really did send many experts. Just by standing there, the space around them constantly rippled due to the pressure of a powerful force. Without a doubt, they were all reciprocity experts. Relatively speaking, early reciprocity experts were easy to see because early reciprocity experts didn't have great control over their own origin energy. Some of their energy would leak out and affect the surrounding illusions. After reaching mid-reciprocity, there would be no such problem. Instead, their energy would be withdrawn and they would return to their original state. Lu Ming glanced around. There were actually over 300 origin experts from the 3 races in the Forbidden Land. Yes, over 300 origin experts. That was a terrifying number. These were origin experts. The Heaven Destroyer had only accumulated 49 origin experts after 60 stellar years. The Celestial Clan had sent all their experts, but they only had 100 or so origin experts. The 3 races in the Forbidden Land had casually sent over 300 early reciprocity experts. That was how deep their foundations were. Aside from the 3 races, the Celestial Clan had also sent over a dozen origin experts. They stood beside Yi Immortal. Further ahead was a huge, deep pit. It was blood-red and covered in inscriptions. They formed a huge formation that was operating at full power. Lu Ming immediately guessed that the pit was very likely the place where the Human King's heart blood had dripped. The 3 races in the Forbidden Land were currently using the formation to refine the Human King's heart blood. Looks like it's still early. They need to refine the Human King's heart blood first and then use it to find the location of the Human King's heart. I'll hide in the shadows for now and not alert them. Once they find the location of the Human King's heart, I'll spread the news. Lu Ming pondered. Lu Ming's plan was to follow them secretly and wait for Yi Wuxia and the people from the 3 forbidden clans to find the location of the Human King's heart. He would then spread the news and let all the forces fight for it, taking advantage of the situation. Chapter 50-53. In the blink of an eye, half a year passed. Suddenly, the formation in the deep pit gave off an intense light. It's about to succeed! Someone from the 3 forbidden races exclaimed, unable to hide his excitement. The sovereign personage's heart blood was about to be extracted. The formation lit up, becoming increasingly resplendent. Strands of scarlet blood qi came out of the deep pit and gathered in the air. The boundless blood qi continuously gathered into a point. The core of this point was the sovereign personage's heart blood. Immediately, a horrifying aura spread out from that point. It was like a universe pressing down on everyone's heart. The people of the 3 forbidden races and the Yi Immortal nearly fell to their knees. Even Lu Ming, who was far away, could feel the immense pressure. Horrifying. This was the might of a sovereign personage. It was just a drop of heart blood. Furthermore, countless years had passed. It had already seeped deep into the ground and dried up. Now that a strand of it was extracted, it gave off such a strong pressure. The strength of a peak sovereign personage was unimaginable. It was said that the core of a sovereign personage's physical body was concentrated in the sovereign personage's heart. It looked like it was not just a rumor. More and more blood qi came out of the deep pit. This blood qi continuously gathered, and the pressure in the air intensified. The people of the 3 forbidden races had no choice but to retreat, putting some distance between them and the sovereign personage's heart blood. Lu Ming also retreated silently. After about half a day, no more blood qi came out of the deep pit. However, a drop of blood the size of a fingertip appeared in the air. This was the sovereign personage's heart blood. Of course, this could not be the complete sovereign personage's heart blood. Too much time had passed. Even if it was the sovereign personage's heart blood, a portion of it would have dissipated. Furthermore, given the strength of the Yi Immortal and the 3 forbidden races, they could not extract the complete sovereign personage's heart blood. This drop of sovereign personage's heart blood was probably only 1/10 of the complete sovereign personage's heart blood. However, the people of the 3 forbidden races rejoiced. This was enough. They only needed a bit of the sovereign personage's heart blood to guide them to the sovereign personage's heart. With the sovereign personage's heart, they would have a vast amount of sovereign personage's heart blood. If they could extract the essence of the sovereign personage's heart, it would be an unparalleled tonic, more valuable than any divine medicine. Even a transcendent being would be envious. Lay down the formation and collect this drop of sovereign personage's heart blood. An origin realm expert from the Primordial Light clan ordered. Although only 1/10 of the Human King's heart blood was complete, and after a long period of time, much of its energy had dissipated, it was still not something they could come into contact with. They had to use special methods to collect it. He needed the assistance of a formation. Right at this moment, a sudden change occurred. that drop of human king's heart blood in the air suddenly erupted with terrifying energy fluctuations. Then, with a bang, it exploded. The human king's heart blood had actually self-detonated. However, after the human monarch's heart blood exploded, it did not completely disperse. Instead, with the human monarch's heart blood as the core, it split into countless strands of blood. Streaks of blood fell to the ground like a spider web and fell back into the deep pit. Lines of blood appeared on the ground. The blood lines intertwined with one another to form a strange pattern. From the looks of it, it was a formation. Rumble. Then, the ground shook violently. The core of the tremors was at the center of the deep pit. What happened? Where's the human monarch's heart blood? Why did it turn into blood and fall back to the ground? The formation we laid down has also disappeared. Why is the ground suddenly shaking? It's like something deep underground is about to come out. The beings from the 3 forbidden races cried out in alarm. This scene had exceeded their expectations. Even the Yi Immortal's face sank. They had not expected this. Rumble. The ground shook more and more violently, as if some colossus was about to charge out from the depths of the earth. Could it be that the human monarch's heart blood had fallen here and seeped into the depths of the earth, giving birth to some terrifying being? Many people could not help but have such a thought. Crack. Suddenly, the deep pit split open. A crack appeared, and as soon as this crack appeared, it rapidly expanded. The crack rapidly extended to both sides, as if it was tearing the earth apart. However, after a while, the crack did not continue to extend and stopped. However, a huge crack had appeared in the ground. Faint blood-red light constantly seeped out from this crack. The strands of blood on the ground gathered together again, forming the shape of a drop of blood. It rushed into the crack and disappeared. Could it be that the human monarch's heart is beneath this crack? Someone cried out in alarm. The eyes of the others flashed, feeling that this was very likely. It's very likely that this region was originally sealed, but when we were refining the human monarch's heart blood, we accidentally opened the seal. The human monarch's heart blood flew in of its own accord. It was probably attracted by the human monarch's heart. What an excellent method. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Who could have imagined that the human monarch's heart was sealed beneath his own heart blood? The 3 forbidden races and the Yi Immortal speculated that the human monarch's heart was probably beneath this crack. Send people in to investigate. In the end, the 3 forbidden races decided to send people in to investigate. There was no telling what dangers lay within the crack. Those who entered had to be prepared to die. The 3 races sent a total of 9 people. Each race sent 3 people, each led by an origin. The other 2 were peak god lords. This is very likely the location of the human monarch's heart. Lu Ming also made this judgment. He had participated in several battles for the human monarch's physical body. Based on his past experience, he felt that the human monarch's physical body should be sealed here. Just as the 3 forbidden races were sending people into the crack to investigate, Lu Ming sent out a message. The message he sent was very simple. The human monarch's heart was in the 9 elements forbidden land. He had Han Yu, Mulins, and the others think of a way to send this message to the major factions in the Western universe. Soon, the message reached Han Yu, Mulins, and the others. Then, through their respective networks, they spread the news in an orderly manner. First, it spread through the Azure Divine Realm like a hurricane. Then, it spread to the 9 demonic spider race and the extreme evil race at an even faster speed. The 6 major factions in the Western universe were all alarmed. Human monarch Xuanyuan's heart had appeared. That was the human monarch's heart. How much was it worth? Heaven Destroyer and the heavenly human race couldn't completely estimate the value of the human monarch's heart. But how could the creatures in the Forbidden Lands not know? Human monarch Xuanyuan was so powerful that he single-handedly flattened 2 Forbidden Lands. He killed so many of the Forbidden Lands that they didn't dare to make a sound. He was unparalleled in the world, and all races bowed their heads. The value of the heart left behind by such a person was simply heaven-defying. To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this time, Chapter 5049. You can read the record when you open the bookshelf next time. If you like Myriad Dragon Emperor, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.